2 years, and it's been an exciting 2 years in technology. So you've talked about kind of the cultural shift. We've also had tectonic technology shifts with the advent of Gen AI. Obviously, AI has been around for forever. It's not necessarily new, but from the form of
Yeah.
LLMs, it's a very quite different space. And I think there's also far more interesting applications for companies that have some amount of scale and size, such as Xactus. So, what has your philosophy been in the past 2 years, year and a half, in approaching Gen AI, and then maybe anything that you've built with it?
Yeah, no, it's crazy because when I was at my last job, um, we had a pretty large data analytics group, like 80 data scientists, something crazy like that. Um, and they had a ton of, I mean, these were like PhDs and
The true
MS.
scientist of the technology
Yeah, oh
world.
yeah, oh
Yeah.
yeah. And these guys were building crazy underwriting models using machine learning, artificial intelligence, all that kind of stuff. Um, Really hardcore. By the way, they were and are very, very good at it. Um, when GPT first came out, I think roughly 18 months ago, um, it immediately caught my attention. I was shocked at what you could do with it. Um, and I kind of have drawn a line. It's like pre-GPT and post-GPT, right? So like pre-GPT was like you got a bunch of PhDs and a whole bunch of really smart mathematicians and all that kind of stuff. Post-GPT, I really view GPT as being kind of like the democratization of machine learning and artificial intelligence.
Compress the
Um,
timeline, compress the cost, compress the knowledge necessary, and now it's way more ubiquitous or accessible.
yeah, yeah, and I not only on a professional basis but on a personal basis, I became fascinated with it, and um, I just spent a ton of time learning about the pros, the cons, playing around the edges of it to see what it was good at, what it wasn't good at. For instance, large language models are very good at a lot of things. They're terrible at doing mathematics for the most part. Um, if you don't train them in the correct way, they'll hallucinate. I mean, literally just make stuff up. And that continues to be a little bit of a problem that you have to kind of deal with. But, you know, I convinced myself that, you know, I, I, I don't want to just read about this. I want to actually put my hands on it because that's the way I learn is if I can touch it and feel it and play with it, I can understand it. Um, so I actually sat down, I wrote a chatbot, started building out a chatbot with it in Python. And I knew that so obviously we have our own platform. It's called Xactus 360. And that basically is what our customers use to interact with us and purchase all of these different data sets and services, etc. Um, we had a large number of standard operating procedures that we had written around it, and I was like, it would be cool if we had an internal chatbot for our own staff where we could use this technology, train it on all these standard operating procedures, and allow people to ask questions and get answers. Um, so we also knew that we did not want to train the public model. We didn't want our proprietary IP being used to train the proprietary model. And if you just went to the Open AI, website and you asked it a question or pasted in a whole bunch of stuff from a corporate document, you're literally training
You're
the
giving them your data
model.
to, yeah.
Yeah, you're
Yep.
giving you're exposing your data. We knew we did not want to do that. Um, so I knew that if I became a subscriber, purchased tokens on a monthly basis and used their API, it would be private. And I also use the API against a local large, so a vector database. So I trained the database using the API, and then ultimately build out an application that we call Zelda. So Xactus is, Xactus, and Zelda is actually my English bulldog's or my French bulldog's name, except it's you know here it's with a Z. Internally at Xactus, it's with an X. So we have an internal chatbot that we've been using now for the better part of 8 months, 9 months. It's called Zelda, and she's been wildly successful. It was really interesting because part of the journey was learning how differently the prompt engineering could affect the behavior. And you know, we we ended up training Zelda, the assistant portion, as literally a French bulldog. So the attendant icon is a picture of my dog, and French bulldogs tend to be a little sassy. So we gave Zelda a personality. So like at the end of a response, she'll go, woof woof, and then put a paw print or something on it. So there's some clever interactions there. One of the other things that we did is we built in a rating system. So after every response, there's 5 dog bones, and
Got to keep it thematic.
you can click 1 through 5 dog bones to rate the answer, and if it's 3 or less, um, we get notified, and that allows us to understand that the quality of the answer was not as good as it should have been, and it gives us an opportunity to change our documentation that we trained the model on. But it's worked out famously so far.